The name Lorraine Whittaker often conjures a singular, haunting image, one of isolation, tragedy, and profound sorrow. For decades, she has been relegated to the role of a societal specter, a whispered about curiosity from the remote hollows of West Virginia, the daughter of R.Y. and Elizabeth Whittaker, first-degree cousins. Lorraine's origin story is rooted in a choice that modern society struggles to comprehend, yet one that was born from a context of extreme geographical and social seclusion. In the cloistered, tiny community of Odd, where the outside world felt a lifetime away and marriageable options were vanishingly scarce, unions between close kin were not merely a practice but a stark, unvarnished necessity for survival. To the outside gaze, however, the Whittakers became a genetic case study, a family frozen in time, perpetuating a lineage marked by challenges few dared to fully investigate. Lorraine, in particular, emerged as the living symbol of this consanguineous tragedy, a woman whose very name is uttered in hushed tones, carrying the invisible, crushing weight of a lifetime of judgments. Yet, to define her existence solely by the physical and mental difficulties wrought by a closed gene pool is to tell only half her story. It is also the narrative of a woman systematically marginalized, treated as an exhibit rather than a human being, a distant, misunderstood figure reflexively rejected by a society that never once endeavored to glimpse her true essence. What remains unseen, and what few have ever paused to truly understand, is that behind this veneer of suffering, Lorraine Whittaker is a singular individual. She is a woman who, against the relentless tide of adversity life thrust upon her, possesses a fortified heart whose strength has gone perpetually unrecognized. Unbeknownst to the world, deep beneath the surface of her assigned stigma, Lorraine was a silent, deeply important pillar for her family and the fading remnants of her community. Her story is infinitely more complex, more humanly resilient, and more beautifully nuanced than the world's shallow perception could ever allow. Lorraine Whittaker continues to live beneath the oppressive shadow of a social stigma she inherited, not chose. As the daughter of R.Y. and Elizabeth, cousin spouses, she was and remains branded a genetic anomaly. The fact of her parents' union, which created a lineage steeped in consanguinity, persists as a wellspring of prejudice and visceral revulsion for many. Today, Lorraine bears the dual burden of this origin, a practice widely deemed unnatural, and the constant, harsh judgment for a circumstance she did not elect but was irrevocably born into. While science may frame consanguinity in clinical terms, for the world around her, it is often treated as a sin, a profound moral failing. Lorraine is perpetually stigmatized by her very genesis. The community still regards her as a figure of strangeness, reducing her family's complex history to a mere genetic mistake, an aberration devoid of context or compassion. Even in our era of advanced genetic understanding, she is met not with empathy, but with the heavy, unyielding ignorance of a society that judges first and never bothers to ask questions. She is viewed with suspicion and a palpable distancing, as if her origin somehow renders her less worthy of basic human dignity. This stigma transcends her physical appearance or the specific health challenges she endures. The foundational story of her family, the cousin marriage at its core, remains an unassailable barrier to social inclusion. Though an adult woman, full acceptance has forever eluded her. Those who know of her treat her with a hesitance and removal, never venturing toward understanding. Lorraine, with her distinct physical features and difficulties in communication, is perpetually cast as a marginalized outsider, someone irrevocably outside the norm. But the truth, known to so few, is that she never chose this. She did not choose her parentage. She did not choose her cognitive or physical challenges. All Lorraine has ever truly desired is to be seen as a person, normal, whole, and worthy. Yet society, in its relentless cruelty, rejects her for her origin, thereby deepening her isolation, making her a spectacle to be observed from a safe distance. Compounding this social exile is a devastating lack of institutional support. Doctors, educators, and social workers have consistently failed to provide the specialized care required to address the multifaceted difficulties wrought by recessive genetic diseases. The historical and ongoing neglect of the Whittaker family is a stark reflection of both profound resource scarcity and the deep, entrenched isolation they inhabit. There was never a guiding hand to explain the changes in her body and mind, and even now, decades later, support for her specific condition remains critically limited. Lorraine continues to suffer because the options are scarce and the medical community has never mounted a concerted, compassionate effort to find adequate solutions. Consequently, Lorraine remains a woman profoundly alone. The emotional solitude she carries is a deep, constant ache. She exists within a bubble of rejection, perpetually sidelined and met with avoidance. Despite her adulthood, she has never escaped the isolating chains first forged in childhood. The contempt and lack of social acceptance form the most significant emotional barriers in her life today. The world, unfortunately, still sees only a curiosity, often deeming her unworthy of the effort to understand. The stigma of her birth continues to dictate her social interactions, severely limiting her chances to forge meaningful connections. Those around her, instead of offering basic humanity and compassion, see only the reflection of a genetic practice they fear and misunderstand. The barriers are profound, and Lorraine finds herself in a perpetual, wearying battle against a prejudice she did not create. Internally, she wages a daily war against feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. The judgment of others has built an emotional dam within her, holding back any chance of a full and fulfilling life. The shame imposed by society acts as a silent gag, stifling her voice and her spirit. No one sees the person she truly is. Social prejudice prevents her from revealing her authentic humanity. She is not merely a collection of physical distortions and cognitive challenges. She is a person of deep feeling, of desires, with a story that deserves to be heard and understood, not judged and discarded. But behind this curtain of stigma and loneliness resides a woman of immense, quiet strength, resilience, and a will that has endured a lifetime of trials. Lorraine's narrative extends far beyond judgment and exclusion. Unbeknownst to the world, she is a figure of great inner fortitude, possessing a rich, emotionally complex history that society has conveniently forgotten. Lorraine is not defined by her genetic makeup or society's verdict. To look at her life now is to witness someone who, while marginalized, carries a silent wisdom and a dignity that has gone perpetually unrecognized. Her true essence is not found in her appearance but in the strength of her soul. She is a woman with a resilient heart who, despite unending judgment, continues to fight for her own humanity, living with a spirit that refuses to be quenched. One of her most profound yet overlooked qualities is her boundless capacity for love and devotion. Far from being merely a victim of genetic tragedy, Lorraine has been a dedicated caregiver and a mother who has poured herself into her family. In the face of societal scorn, she has remained fiercely loyal to her own, standing by her children and siblings with a patience that is nothing short of admirable, often without receiving any of the recognition she so richly deserves. She is a woman of immense kindness who, despite her personal struggles, has never faltered in offering unconditional love. Even in her own isolated condition, Lorraine has served as a pillar of support for her loved ones, embracing her responsibilities with a willingness to care for others even when she herself was being overlooked. Society fails to see that her strength lies not in her ability to communicate easily, but in the profound depth of her love and her capacity to nurture. The way she meets her own hardships with a warm heart is a masterclass in resilience. Though ridiculed and prejudged, she persists in caring for those she loves. This ability to give love even when she receives so little in return stands as one of her greatest, most heroic qualities. Lorraine's true legacy is not one of genetic error, but of indomitable willpower. She exists in a society that rejects her based on deep-seated prejudice, yet she does not surrender. Instead of being consumed by pain, she continues to fight for her dignity. Her inner strength is what keeps her upright, allowing her to face both her physical hardships and the vast lack of understanding that surrounds her. Today, Lorraine does not live in defeat but continues to confront the loneliness of being perceived only through the lens of prejudice. Societal rejection is a heavy cross to bear, but she perseveres, finding the strength to maintain her identity. Despite everything, she is a woman of profound decency, defined not by her limitations but by her relentless resilience. A lifetime of isolation has forged her into an introspective, deeply reflective individual. She has learned to embrace her solitude in ways few can fathom. This loneliness did not break her, instead, it granted her a depth of character and self-understanding. She came to realize that society's judgment of what she appears to be does not define who she is. Even in isolation, Lorraine found a path to self-acceptance and peace. The inner wisdom she cultivated is a testament to her daily struggle to make sense of her journey. Loneliness, for her, became an unlikely catalyst for emotional growth. She discovered that she did not need societal acceptance to find fulfillment. Her power lies in overcoming adversity alone and discovering within herself what truly matters. Despite all the rejection and contempt, she remains steadfast, refusing to let external opinions dictate her self-worth. Lorraine's real legacy is not the stigma she carries but her daily perseverance, her ability to rise each day to care for her family with unwavering love, embodying a strength and wisdom that is rarely acknowledged. Her story is one of profound resistance, a testament to a woman who, facing a life defined by stigma, simply never allowed herself to be broken. The world sees one version of her, but the truth is that Lorraine Whittaker is so much more. She is the very definition of resilience and love, a person who has lived a life of immense adversity yet never lost her capacity to care, to fight, and to love. She is not a curiosity or a tragedy, she is a woman who, against all odds, leaves a lasting mark of courage and profound humanity. In our current era, Lorraine and the Whittaker family, particularly due to their exposure on social media, continue to navigate a daily reality shaped by public judgment. These digital platforms, a mirror to modern society, have become a space where their personal story is often viewed through a superficial, and frequently cruel, lens. Lorraine has been subjected to a torrent of merciless opinions based primarily on genetic appearance and ingrained prejudice. Yet, within this storm of judgment, there exists an undercurrent of humanity that many consciously choose to embrace. While contempt and doubt persist, so too do acts of genuine empathy and compassion. The destructive comments found online do not define Lorraine's value, they merely reflect a pervasive societal ignorance regarding genetics and isolation. However, the Whittakers' story transcends this criticism. As the family gained visibility, Lorraine's plight touched the hearts of countless compassionate individuals who saw not a curiosity but a family with real needs, deserving of help and understanding. From this empathy, tangible support began to flow. Financial donations, material aid, and concerted efforts to improve their living conditions emerged. This solidarity provided crucial relief, enabling the family to secure better housing, nutritious food, and essential clothing. This support was, and remains, vital for meeting their basic human needs. Yet, for all the significance of this material aid, the true help the Whittakers require extends far beyond finances. Despite the best intentions of donors, the medical and psychological care essential for addressing the impacts of extreme consanguinity remain largely inaccessible obstacles. Geographic isolation and a critical shortage of specialized medical professionals present immense challenges. Furthermore, the absence of consistent psychological support is a glaring deficiency. The social stigma and deep emotional loneliness that have plagued Lorraine's entire life cannot be solved by donations alone. She requires ongoing, expert psychological care to heal wounds that are decades old. Lorraine's story is not unique in its outline, many isolated individuals face similar plights. Her situation exposes a critical failing in our modern society, our inability to provide a comprehensive, structured support system for the most vulnerable. The assistance offered to her, while meaningful, remains fragmented. A lack of deep understanding prevents this help from addressing the most complex needs: specialized medical care, continuous psychological therapy, and tailored educational support. This prompts a necessary reflection on the meaning of true help. Short-term donations, however well-intentioned, are not enough. What the Whittaker family truly requires is a sustained, coordinated network of support, a long-term commitment to transforming their lives. Their story challenges us to re-evaluate how we treat those on the margins. It calls us to recognize invisible struggles, to humanize those who have been dehumanized, and to act with a commitment that is both continuous and meaningful. Only through such dedicated solidarity can we ensure that everyone has a genuine chance to overcome adversity and live a life of dignity. True solidarity is given freely, without expectation of return, and is rooted in a deep commitment to building a more just and inclusive world. Today, you have been invited to learn a story not only of hardship but of immense resilience, unconditional love, and enduring humanity. Lorraine Whittaker is a woman who, despite everything imposed upon her, has never ceased fighting, surviving, and, most importantly, loving. Her history, marked by genetic results from choices made in a context of isolation and prejudice, is one of profound complexity. Daughter of Ray and Elizabeth, Lorraine grew up in a closed world where such marriages were a stark reality. Her life, etched by loneliness, has been repeatedly denied and dismissed by society, her true essence and human value forgotten, reduced to a mere biological footnote. But today, we possess the power to change that narrative. Lorraine's story must no longer be one of marginalization. She deserves to be recognized not as a shadow of her family's past, but as a woman of immense courage, love, and compassion. The social judgment cast upon her has always been tragically superficial. Many see only the exterior, the physical manifestations of consanguinity, and completely miss the formidable fortress of strength within. Lorraine is not a tragedy. She is not worthless. She is a mother, a sister, a daughter, a person of deep feelings and a narrative that encompasses far more than the mistakes of a previous generation. She is more than the stigmas forced upon her. As a society, we bear a profound responsibility to view others with eyes of empathy. Lorraine has been treated as a specimen, but the truth is she is a woman of great dignity, strength, and hard-won wisdom. Now, you hold the power to help rewrite her story. Your words of support can become the light she has always needed to step out from the shadows of judgment. You can be the reason Lorraine finally feels seen and valued for the remarkable woman she is. Imagine if we all, upon hearing a story as significant as Lorraine's, resolved to help. It is easy to believe solidarity requires physical proximity, but that is an illusion. In our connected age, virtual support carries immense power. A beautiful, positive comment can show Lorraine that she is not alone. It can affirm that she is not a curiosity, but a human being, truly seen and understood. Every word you write has the potential to be the emotional balm that helps heal her lifelong wounds. Lorraine, you are not invisible. Your strength inspires us all. This is the message she needs to receive. Let us all choose to see her humanity instead of her genetics. She is not just a victim, she is a woman with a heart, a soul, and a story that is uniquely hers. It is easy to fall into the trap of labeling her as an outsider. But by understanding the complexity of her life, we realize the greatest gift we can offer is the recognition of her true essence. This is your chance to be a light in Lorraine's life. Let us collectively make her story one of empathy and compassion. Let's break down the barriers of prejudice and support those who need it most. Lorraine is a woman who deserves love, respect, and value. Her story is not one of shame, but an enduring example of resilience, unconditional love, and fierce loyalty. By supporting her, you help rescue the woman who has always existed behind the stigma, the woman who has been forgotten for far too long. I now invite you to become the change we wish to see in Lorraine's life. Leave a comment of support. Share her story. Help spread a wave of solidarity. Below are a few ready-made phrases to help you express your support. Lorraine, you are an amazing woman and deserve all the love and respect in the world. Your story is a profound inspiration, Lorraine. May your incredible strength be recognized by all. Lorraine, you are so much more than the stigmas you've faced. You are a true warrior of the heart. I am grateful to have learned your story, Lorraine. Your courage teaches us all about resilience. Beyond leaving your comments, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. The more people who understand Lorraine's true story, the more we can pull her from the shadows of invisibility. Let us make the world see the incredible woman she is, not as a label, but as a person deserving of dignity and understanding. Her story deserves to be rewritten, and together, we can be the authors of that change. The story of Lorraine Whittaker challenges us to look beyond labels and preconceived notions. Each of us can be the light that helps guide someone out of a life of judgment and rejection. Lorraine, despite every obstacle placed before her, deserves to be seen, understood, and supported for her authentic humanity. If you believe that everyone deserves compassion and that love can genuinely change a life, then help us rewrite Lorraine's story. Be the change. Be the light.